Hello, and welcome to Building Your T-Shirt Empire. This week we have a collaboration with Gavin. So this was released on both of our podcasts, and I hope you enjoy listening. Thanks so much, guys.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Talking Business. Today I got a good buddy of mine today was able to link up. And today we're actually doing something special. We doing a collaboration between podcasts. So I'm gonna him introduce himself and let him introduce his show.
Hey, this is Cole, and I host a show called Building Your T-Shirt Empire. So this is also an episode of Building Your T-Shirt Empire, and we're going to be releasing this on both of our platforms. So I hope everyone who's new to listening to me enjoys it.
Cool. I think everybody knows you, Cole, because you're famous.
You're the one that went to like every conference. Everyone seems to know both of us.
More you than I do go to a lot of conferences, but more you than me. So I'll tell them a little bit about me, and then we could do whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So Gavin St. George, I own a company that's called Proud T-shirt printing company. Actually, right now in the process of transitioning, working on a couple of other projects. We'll probably reveal some of that later in this show or not. We'll see how it goes. So yeah. So been doing this thing for about 6 years now.
And I'm Cole, and I own Shirt Agency in Los Angeles. We do printing and fulfillment for like bands, businesses, local restaurants, all those kind of people. And we do the e-commerce fulfillment aspect of it for them so that we can ship it straight to their customers, which has actually helped a lot this year because all of our live event printing got slaughtered. So being able to still fulfill for websites kind of kept us afloat.
Yeah. Hey, you remember how we met? I always kind of go back to that in my mind.
It was me dying on a hill. So that's how we met.
Yeah, it was just that.
I learned that I was wildly out of shape on that day. I was like, I always told myself, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of averagey chubby. Then on that mountain, I was like, nope, no, I would just die in the wild. That's all that would happen.
Yeah, so Cole had went to Haiti, and we met on a trip while he was in Haiti, and we was climbing this crazy mountain. Like, I mean, it was a steep mountain, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of cool. So it's been like 4 years ago, man. That was kind of cool. It's been actually kind of, it's been that long. I think
Wow.
so. 3, 4
Yeah,
years.
I guess. Well, it's 2021. So was that a 2018 trip or a 2017 trip?
So if we go back, we know 1 year passed because of COVID. Nothing happened. Uh, yeah, we did a podcast before, and that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, just about let's say 3 years.
Oh no, the phones.
Yeah, man.
I thought I thought I turned off all my phones and I forgot about the phone on my PC. So anyway, I'm back. It's turned off. So yeah, so what are you doing now? I know that you're not even like in the States. How have you been changing this year with your business?
Yeah, man. It's been kind of, it was strange. It was strange. Like when COVID happened, actually, before, if I step back a little bit, before like COVID, I was super excited. I had went to another trade show. Actually, I went to ThreadX. You know ThreadX, right?
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, ThreadX. It was like my third time going to ThreadX. I had talked to a lot of people there. I was actually really excited, like for the year after ThreadX, because in my business at the time, I had like stacked up like maybe like 3 or 4 really good months, and I was like, man, we're gonna kill it this year. And ThreadX came. ThreadX was right before the whole COVID situation, and then COVID came and just I don't know. At the time I didn't think our business could like survive COVID because we still we had the rock to pay. We had like our landlord that we had to take care of. At the time, we also had an employee, but also at the same time, we was talking to somebody that was interested in like us like collaborating, join force together.
Hmm.
And that all kind of happened all around the same time. So we kind of started this whole little journey trying to like uh, merge the two companies together. So that took a while and some personal things happened. So actually right now I'm transitioning and from my business, selling part of it, keeping the brand, selling the equipment part and not doing as much production.
I
Uh,
think about that all the time, though. I think about like, hey, keep the website, to keep doing my same sales, and just teaming up with a print shop that I can trust.
yeah.
The big thing is that control. It's like a lot of our business ends up being kind of last minute, where people, they want something in 4 days.
Yeah.
And when you don't own the equipment and you try to force that on people, either you don't make any money because they're going to go crazy with rush fees, or they just say no. And then you're like letting down clients that in the past you would have been able to service. Um, so it'd be a weird transition, but I know that I don't want to grow bigger with actual machines. I want to like, even if I hold all my machines, I do want to get to a place where it's like, I'm farming out this sublimation job and I'm farming out this embroidery job and whatever. And then it feels like you can order all that through Shirt Agency, but I don't really want to expand production.
Yeah. Yeah. That it could get tricky outsourcing if your partner is not good
Yeah,
with,
that's the problem.
yeah. So, but I think if you're smaller, like I was, you're more flexible to do so. So I think I had a little bit advantage that way,
Hmm.
as far as just being able to like pivot whichever way. You know what I mean? My customer base was not probably as deep as yours. Um, and if you think about it, if you're a smaller shop and you team up with another smaller shop and you double their business almost instantly, so they'd be happy to take you on as like a partner, like not a official partner, but like somebody that could give them work all the time.
Hmm.
So that's been working out on, I would say most of the time it works out, but there are some time where some customers, if you set the expectation wrong, like in the beginning where they could just come to you and next day you're doing the thing, then it's not going to work out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's all about expectations with clients. I was reading this post on Facebook because I'm in like the t-shirt mastermind group or whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy, most of the people are brands, right? They're not print shops. So this guy posts about how 7 different print shops weren't up to his standards, and how his standard for DTG is, whatever magic level,
Okay.
and how he has to have the highest quality because he's going to put his name on this brand. And he said he'd been working on the brand for 3 years. He'd sampled everything at the brand 7 times at 7 shops. He had 100 designs that he swore all were perfect. And he'd made $0 in 3 years. And I was just like, dude, I don't want to be the eighth. I don't care. Like you clearly are just a picky person who has no idea how to make money. Because if you want to make money, what
Yep.
you're doing is the dumbest thing in the world. Like to just make $0 for 3 years because your standards are too high. It's like
Yeah.
whatever, dude. You're just like spinning your wheels.
Yeah. I think people fall in love with their ideas and like, yeah, you gotta like, there is like this threshold that you gotta pass, but of like quality, but
Yeah.
you gotta like
But yeah.
you
I mean, you
gotta
can't like screw up jobs, but the
yeah,
idea that like a t-shirt has to be some immaculate thing that like it's like, dude, you're gonna sell it for $20. So how incredible can it really be? I don't know. People are just too picky. They don't realize that the big brands don't do that.
yeah. I mean, the big brands are all about making money, man. Like,
Yeah,
and
I mean, big brands, they have like a standard and their clothes aren't terrible, but if you go and look at prints at PacSun or Hot Topic or something, they're very doable prints. They're not like some masterpiece that no print shop could pull off. They're just popular licenses. That's why they're successful.
Yeah, yeah. So COVID just happened. What's going on right now in your business? Like, what do you see?
Well, LA was like one of the harshest cities for lockdown. So like all of our bars and stuff completely stopped placing orders. All the like live event people stopped. And now we're seeing a little bit of people kind of like reawakening. We've seen some events actually happen out of state. So we got some orders because of that. And then we also have seen people kind of like, oh, hey, we're reopening or we're allowed to do indoor dining or whatever. And so they're kind of gearing up for summer. But we still haven't seen that big push of like, hey, I need 8,000 units for this concert, which that's still missing. But I'm assuming July, August, we should be seeing that kind of stuff, or hopefully sooner.
Hopefully, like, because a lot, if you kind of watch the news, people are talking about the vaccine thing's not working out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the vaccine rollout. Like, it seems like I know that the Lakers, if you want to go see a Laker game, you can now, and you have to prove that you're vaccinated, or you have to get a COVID test before you enter. So maybe that'll be the future where it's like you prove that you're vaccinated, and then you get to go and have a normal night.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Like the businesses, almost like they're gonna force this new world. Like you must have this vaccine card. Like, what's your thought on that? How do you feel?
I think that the government can't do it because that would get overturned in the Supreme Court. So then it turns into businesses doing it for the same reason that they say you can't walk in, like without shoes on.
Yeah.
It's just the right to refuse service. So if it's just businesses, I guess I'm okay with it because they do get to do whatever they want. And then if the government actually did it, I think it would probably be illegal.
Gotcha. You still doing the live printing? I see you did an event recently.
Yeah, because the races are back on. So we get to work for Hyundai again. And it's been fun to actually do things. It's weird doing it with COVID though, because it's like I'm in like this plexiglass jail. So I'm behind plexiglass wearing a mask with other like BA girls wearing their masks. And like then everyone who gets in line has to have a mask on. And then you argue with like one out of every 50 people about their mask. And it's just like it's not normal yet. But at least we get to go out there and like do something.
Yeah. Anything new for you on your end? Your business, personally?
I'm working on revamping the website again. So that's kind of the thing for the business is getting the website to the point where I don't create quotes anymore. Obviously there'll always be bigger clients that need specific quotes because it's like a bigger job. But all those 25-piece, 50-piece orders, I just want people checking out as if we were custom ink. I'm sick of like having us write up a quote a few hours after somebody sends a request. It's just too slow and it's definitely not the future. So that's kind of the focus right now is getting that like transition to work well and not just be a website that people click away from.
Yeah. So I know we talked about this offline for a little bit. I think you and I got a similar process, like on the way we do the quoting using like a VA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sometimes in the beginning, I used to almost feel like that was a little secret, a little hack that a lot of people wasn't using. How do you feel about that, and how do you do it? If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I can talk about. I've talked about it before. So the VA, at the moment, I only have one. You have like a little army, but I just have one. I learned about it a long time ago because one of my buddies who ran a brand, he was using them for all his like customer service. So he kind of knew the ins and outs of it, like in 2013, 2014. So it felt kind of new back then. And I've tried it throughout that timeline where like some of them I just had to stop trying to use. They were just too, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could have been my fault, but it was just too much of a language barrier.
Yeah.
And then this person, Janwan, I've had for, I don't know, maybe 14 months or so. And I love him. He's super responsive. He kind of like, at this point, he totally knows our flow. He's never absent, he's never like just offline. And I don't know why he's not there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like really consistent. And he seems to be happy because I pay him over what he asked to be paid.
Nope.
And so he seems to be very loyal to the business because, I'm not paying him like the bare bones. Like he's making more off of me than he could from other businesses. So I think he's really comfortable in the position.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing great. I mean, the biggest thing is trying to use them on the phones doesn't always work just because people are kind of like judgmental. I don't know if it's a racist thing or if they're just like, I don't know what it is, but customers seem to not do well with it. And it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're supposed to do, but online with emails and stuff, he's amazing.
Yeah. I think like, because back then, like there was a wave of all these corporations going overseas. Every time that you'd call AT&T or whatever, you'd get this with with an accent. And I think people was just turned off by that. So yeah, like probably on the phone, if you're having a VA, unless they got like perfect English, it's not a good strategy. But everything else they could do, emails, like doing a little research here and there, like that takes up a lot of time, and a VA could easily do that.
Have you ever used one of those services like Osh or Ruby?
Yeah, I actually did. Man, you put me on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you had put me on to Ruby like 2 years ago. I don't know, like a lot of time when people talk, I just kind of just pick up on the thing they say, and I go and try it out.
Are you still on it, or you're just answering your own phone now?
So no, I'm not on it anymore, but we kept it we had it for over a year.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I didn't need it anymore. But it's actually a real good strategy if you like, especially if you're building like a small company, like they instantly make you look big because somebody's always there all the time to answer your phone. They always professional, whatever. And it worked out pretty good for us. Like, but you just gotta in the beginning, I didn't like think of it in advance where I had all the steps properly lined up. So sometimes things would get missed, but once I create like a workflow around it and like cleaned up the little worksheet that they have you fill out, and it worked out great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think if I was on press, I would still be using it. Like if I was actively printing all day and I couldn't be distracted by phone calls, it would be really good compared to not having to like hire a front salesperson.
Yeah. So if I'm starting a print shop today, like knowing what I know now, oh God. So
I'm not starting a print shop.
Huh?
If I know what I know now, I'm not starting a print shop.
Yeah. I mean, I would like.
You'd actually buy equipment?
No, say what?
Would you actually buy equipment? Because that's a print shop.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna resell apparel, that's different.
No, like if let's say I'm a young guy, no family, right? Like no wife and kid or whatever. Like I would, as long as you have the right mindset going into it. Like the thing is, when you first start out, you're thinking about printing T-shirt, but you're not thinking business wise or business if you want to call it that way. Like so if you structure it in a way where, for example, you got first you start just get a couple of customers just pays for everything, like 2 or 3 decent customers pay for everything. And then you could have the phone system that you just talked about, have a VA, and then just have all the tech tools in the back that could just help you out. You could run a really good business. You could make $200,000-$300,000 easy if you set it up properly. And it won't feel like, I felt like my whole journey, it felt hard because it was the first time I was doing it. But now if I'm looking back, I'm like, that should have been a lot easier. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it should have been. And I think in the beginning I talked to you about one project I'm working on. One thing that was really hard for me in the beginning was like doing designs, doing artwork. That felt really hard because like it was something that was new to me. Like I had to learn Illustrator, which I did. I had to, and then I tried to find people all over the place to kind of help me out doing artwork. Artwork just took a long time for me to do in the beginning. So yeah, like knowing what I know now, I find somebody that could help me out with the artwork and just do the one or two things.
Yeah. Yeah, the artwork is difficult for a lot of people. When we teach the class, that seems to be something that people always want to spend more time on.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's one of those things that you can learn it for free on like YouTube or whatever and just kind of grind it out. But you can also have somebody with the skill doing it for you at like a pretty reasonably low price.
Yeah.
And then you just bake that into your print cost. So it's just something to balance out. I mean, I always knew the software. I knew it when I was in high school and stuff. So
Yeah.
for me, that part's kind of been autopilot, but I know a lot of people get stuck on it.
Yeah, even if you know the software, like in your case, which is a big advantage, most people won't. Um, but if you notice the time that it takes, you're
Yeah.
running a business, not, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to focus on the one or two activity that makes you the money, which is in your case probably just what, talking to the customer and getting that sale.
Yeah, I mean, the best use of me is just getting me on a phone call with somebody and just letting them know that we're not going to be morons. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of sales is. It's just giving people confidence.
Exactly.
It's like, we won't screw this up. Here's all your answers to all your questions. And then if they think you're not a moron, then you normally will get the sale. Because it's not really like, we basically are doing a commodity service. You're just putting ink on a shirt. We try to pretend that we're premium and high end and all that crap, but for the most part, we're doing what everyone is doing. It's just we're not doing a super horrible job. So it's kind of like you're just explaining to people like, yeah, we'll hit your deadline. We won't use garbage inks. We won't have employees that hate their lives print badly. It's like just doing a decent job is somehow the premium version of the business.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I think that's where a lot of screen printing shop, like as far as the owner, if you like, that's where you should be situated in that role. Just kind of giving people confidence about your business. But I don't, in the beginning, I wasn't doing that. I was printing, I was on the call, I was doing artwork. Remember what you asked me one time in that, were you going to just these networking events and just standing there? So I was doing that. I was going to networking events, just standing there. So yeah, man, it's just finding your spot. So I've been working actually on this little project. We may come out with it soon. Right now, I'm actually interviewing just a lot of friends that I have in the industry or just people that I know, just to see if it's a good fit for people. Where, like starting our business, was able to like build up this nice team of like graphic designers, and they've been with us for a while. So I was like, hey, there's something there. Like I look around in the industry, I don't see that like, there may be other folks that do it, but like an agency for some that could take away all that pain of like doing artwork, right? From start to finish, doing all your pretty much like turnkey, doing all your mock-ups, your vector, your print file, color separation, all that. do it like in a smooth way. All you had to do is like just print, click a button and print.
Hmm.
So that's a little challenge to me. I'm gonna take that on and see what I could do to help out some screen printing friends and screen printing buddies that I have. And when it's ready, it'll be offered to everybody else.
Are you thinking that you're gonna offer actual graphic design too, or is it give us finished art and we'll do the separations?
So in the beginning, it's gonna be that what you just said. Give us finished art. We'll do that. Our guys is like strong enough where you could do the graphic, custom graphic work. My main thing right now in my head is more about process and being able to like do it in a clean way. If
Hmm.
I can't do it in a clean way, there's a lot of back and forth. I don't really want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we don't publicly offer graphic design to our customers because I feel like the people that don't have their art ready are normally the biggest time sucks. Um, so like if somebody just needs us to size something or make color changes or whatever, we always do that. But when people come and they're like, "Hey, I have some great ideas for t-shirts. I want to start a line." I'm like, "Great. Well, why don't you make those ideas with someone else and then we'll print them." Because it's like an amazing amount of back and forth. And then you can do a professional job and
Yep.
then they just don't like it aesthetically. And then you're trying to argue with them about how they have good or bad taste. It's like, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all custom works are like that, right? Custom work is so subjective. Like
Hmm.
what I like is not what you like. You know what I mean? So there's always that room that you got to go from way over here. You got to try to bring it like, um, so custom work is hard, just because of that. It's too many
Yeah, I
variables.
feel bad for like freelance graphic designers where they're always trying to keep individual clients happy. That
Yeah.
would be an exhausting way to make money.
Yeah. But I think there's a problem in the industry, just like getting like yeah, you could get the artwork, but like do it in a clean way where you could just scale up your business and you could have a shop where you're printing 20 jobs a month, 30 jobs a month, or 40 jobs a month,
Hmm.
where you just come in and you just click a button and just print your films, or you go to your machine and just print it out, where you don't have to worry about the artwork. I think there's a lot of like time that's being wasted in that. Uh,
Yeah.
and if we, I think we could do something about it. So I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I think you could do it. I mean, you could even, yeah, I think it'd be really, as long as those PDF files are just print ready so that anyone can print it. Would they still have to like purchase AccuRip to use your files and then print them, or would you like create files that could come out of any printer?
Yeah, that would be that file. It could be, so right now we're working on just getting all the workflows. I don't want to introduce anything that's going to be clunky. Of course, it's going
Hmm.
to be just like any startup that you start, right? In the beginning, you're not going to have all the answers, and I don't pretend to have all the answers. I do feel confident with my guys' ability to just create art, and do it in a clean way. Um, but like, I also want to make it where we could customize it as best as possible to the shop, right? To the way that they like to work. Most shops, they already have a way that they like to print out their films or whatever, or print
Hmm.
out. So we'll, once we get more data, so in the answer your question, yeah, we'll do both.
It would be really sick, especially like if I like the idea of a insanely sick like one person shop and how you would optimize for that. Like if you had the money to get the right equipment and you had a CTS, right? You
Yep.
had a like screen washer, like those really crazy ones from Lotus that are like 60 grand or whatever. You had one auto, like maybe a 8 color or a 10 color. You had your dryer, obviously, but then everything else is other services.
Yeah.
So you have like VAs quoting, you
Yeah.
have like Posh or Ruby answering your phone,
Yeah.
you have just you on the press, or your only employee is the person on the press.
Yeah.
And then you just have this system where it's like we print for 8 hours a day, and that's all we do is print for 8 hours a day. And then whatever we can output, we output, and that's That's the whole goal, is just like one press in a tiny building, just like running.
Dude, like that actually, I had hired this guy, right? And I mean, I'm talking about, I love working with this guy, right? And it was kind of like shocking to me at first because I was like, I just needed somebody at the time because we had got like a real big order. I was like, and then we're starting to get busy. So I didn't really like do a thorough like vetting of this guy like I should have done. And it's crazy because I have a background of like business management. I was a GM for a major corporation so I know interviewing and stuff like that. But at the time I was like, I just need a body. Let me just interview this guy and see what happened. And I interviewed him. I liked him in the interview. I was like, hey, you want to start? He started. I mean, this guy was, I was like 3 months, let's say 3 to 6 months into the relationship. I'm like, this guy's like amazing. Like I could, yeah, I give this guy the keys to the shop. He'd come in. He didn't put the one thing he didn't.
You're like, here's my wife, my kids. You got it.
Yeah, well, not my wife, not my kids. But as far as the business, yeah. I mean, I just really liked it to do it. And my whole idea in my mind was like, all right, it's gonna be me, my wife, and this guy, right? Like really, that was my mind, just like trying to optimize the business as much as possible. If we like only take the amount of work that we could handle. And things happen, like cash flow got really bad. Then, I was struggling to kind of keep him on and stuff like that. So I was like, and he still wanted to be with us, but he had bills to pay, you know what I mean? So that didn't work out, but that would have been like a dream scenario right there. Like, you may need a big team depending on what you're trying to do, but I personally like smaller businesses where, you just get, you could like you just create a vibe around the business, you know what I mean? The more people you add on it, you start losing the vibe.
That's kind of how shirt agency functions. Like we've fluctuated our staff from everything from me being completely alone in like a tiny little room to like 14 people, and then shrunk it back down. And there's this sweet spot at like 8 employees where it's like, let's just not grow. Like if we can just have 8 people all be chill with each other. Like right now, this team, every single person knows what they're doing. None of us piss each other off. There's no new hire that we're like trying to teach or trying to not fire because we can't tell if they're dumb or if it's our fault for not training them. Like all that. Like when we went up to like 14, 15 employees, I felt like our core team was the only people making money, and we had just brought in 7 assholes, and it's like I just had no idea what was going on. Like I didn't know how to use them efficiently.
Yeah.
But then there's these people that are like in the heart of the business, that especially with COVID, I think a lot of companies went around and said like, listen, you're either essential or you're just dead weight.
Yep.
Like, and there's a lot of companies that they took COVID as an excuse to lay off like 30% of their dead weight. And all they did was maximize profits. They didn't limit their output. They just got rid of people that really weren't doing that much.
Yeah. 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 A small business brings a nice vibe that I like. The bigger you get, you start to lose control, especially as like a small business owner. The owner.
Well, or you start hiring people to be mini yous.
Yeah.
So it's like probably the biggest reason I wasn't able to do like 15 people was that what I really needed was like another me managing just the shipping team, and then another me managing printing, and then a third me doing nothing but sales. So it's like 3 me's instead of what I was doing, which was just like, and so I couldn't actually be good at anything with that team because I needed more managers or supervisors or just people that were responsible for their own crew.
Yeah.
And when you hire fast, you don't really hire smart. You're meeting someone for 20 minutes and then you're like, okay, I guess you're in. And it's like, it's really difficult to make that matter, especially in screen printing, because you can't pay someone $30 an hour. So you're
No.
not going to get people that are like amazing applicants. You're going to be like, hey, I can give you 18 an hour or whatever. And you're not going to get like the best of the best for 18 an hour in LA. It's just not going to happen. So it's hard to find people that are like good, consistent workers at that price point. But also, if you raise your price too high, you'll never even get an order, because how would you ever make money if you paid $30 an hour or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Any questions for me?
What do you think is gonna happen going forward with the way you work? I mean, right now you're so remote, you're in another country. Is that the future of work? Like, we're never going to do things in person again? Are you worried about not having a brick and mortar presence?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like for example, my wife, she's been working from home even before this whole thing. So it never felt weird to like work from home or make money from home.
Hmm.
I think that's a lot of the new kids nowadays, they're gonna grow up to be like, I don't need to go to a office to make as long well, if you are in the information industry type of whatever, right? Like, because there's a lot of people that does just like information stuff or anything that you could do just digitally. You don't need to be like stuck at one place, right? So I think that's gonna be, and I think people are just gonna accept that more, like your clients or whatever. Because before it'd be like, well, I need to see you at a shop or something like that, right?
Right. Everyone
Just
wants to come in for a meeting.
yeah. I mean, that's still there because I mean, in this type of business, customer want to see the shirt and feel the shirt,
Hmm.
and that is like a risk for somebody that choose, let's say, outsource uh, printing or whatever. You're gonna lose some customers, and customers not gonna.
But do you think the answer to that, if you've saved all this money by not having the overhead of a building, is the answer to that to just have like $1,000 a month sample budget? So anyone who's like, oh, I need to see quality or touch something, it's like, okay, what's your address? And they get a package a day or two later.
Yeah, because like you said, yeah, you don't have the expense of a rent, you don't have the expense of equipment or whatever, so you just gotta use all that free cash that you have to service the customer other ways. And I
Yeah.
think the benefit of say working from home or just let's say it's not even home, working from a co-working space or an office and maybe even an office in your like for me as a small business, it was like I was tearing myself up like running and going in the back and checking like an approval, ordering this ink, doing this, doing that, right? Which is that's part of running the business. But if you could just focus on just servicing the customer, your customer service, like the few customers that you do get,
Yeah.
you could really take care of those people really well because and they'll feel super appreciate. I mean, they'll appreciate you for that. So
Yeah.
it's like you lose some customers because customers won't want to deal with that, but you'll gain like real good customers.
Yeah, I agree. And having those like customers that they're not even buying from your company, they're buying from you,
Yeah.
is like amazing to be able to just like know that they fully know you personally and that you have this business relationship that's reliable. Um, it's hard because you don't want to offer that to everyone. Like, you don't want to offer that to the guy that is doing 30 shirts for the first time. You don't want to have him texting you.
Yeah.
You just want to have him in like the McDonald's version of your business where you order and you get it. Um, but when you do make that transition with a bigger client, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could carry like in my case, you could carry 4 or 5 really nice client that orders regularly. That in itself could like take care of you. Like anybody else that comes along from them referring or them finding you is like just almost bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those referrals are great. Sometimes we get people who just come out of nowhere and fully trust us, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
And it's almost always a referral. It's not that they found us on Google.
exactly. Yeah. Talking about Google, because I like to research the people that I'm going to be talking to the and the podcast. So I did a little
Mhm.
I did a little research on you or your company. Uh, I saw somebody jack you up on a Google. Well, you have a high rating on Google. Like your company's doing a really good job. Not sure if you want. Did you see that? Somebody like, we're gonna edit this off the podcast.
What did they do? What? It's a review?
Yeah, it's a review. It's a review, and it was like uh they had mentioned your name. It was like, oh, I'm gonna call Cole or something like that. I was like, damn, this guy's putting you on blast, bro.
Oh, he actually said he was going to call me.
Yeah.
I stopped reading reviews. Like, I couldn't care. We have some reviews on there where people they're like, I tried to call 3 times and no one answered. 1 star. It's like, what? Like, we were busy, didn't answer our phone, and you're leaving a 1 star review. Like, you didn't even order an item. Or like, some people will be mad about our price for a custom order, and then we'll get blasted on a review, and it's like, I
Yeah.
can't read this stuff and care. Like, it's too, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I was a bigger company, I'd have to have somebody like deal with it, but I kind of just don't give a shit. That's kind of my attitude about it. So I just don't even read them. Like, when I get the notification in my email, I normally just delete it and don't open it. I don't know what anyone's saying.
Yeah. So like is that a personality thing? Like, or you just got a lot of experience like running business? Because you got this almost like vibe where like you just said right now, I don't care, or you just like straightforward or whatever.
I think I know that we're not like some like crap shop. I think that's what it is. So it's like, since I know that we're not ripping people off, we're not doing anything that's like bad quality. And I also know that everyone who has a real complaint who talks to us, we either reprint or we give them like a discount or whatever. We always work it out somehow.
Yeah.
Since I know all that, the idea of caring about Yelp or whatever is just, it's a total waste of time. I guess I have a natural like attitude of just not caring, but especially with something like what people say on the internet, it's like, it's just not even real, like I still have customers every day calling, so I'm not really concerned about how like Samantha was upset my phone didn't get answered.
All right. So you heard that, Samantha? Stop complaining.
Samantha, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. Hey, man. So I lost my train of thought. So yeah, you asked me a question, and I get my train of thought back.
So let's see. What's the best automatic?
Skip that question. We'll just end this podcast now.
I think that's the only question that matters. I get those questions, like people ask that kind of stuff. And my general thought on it is like, the best automatic is the one that you can afford and it's reliable.
Yeah.
If it's reliable and it's a 1998 M&R and you're still making money on it and you have 0 payments because it's old as fuck,
Yeah.
like, it's like, cool, like, just keep making money. Like, the whole point of the business is making money.
Yeah.
And so when I see people go and they get like $180,000 worth of gear, and it's like, okay, you went from a manual to $180,000 worth of auto, you have no volume to justify it. And you're going to keep telling people about how like you've got your new building or whatever. Like, why didn't you just get the volume and outsource it and then justify a press that actually matters?
Yeah.
I think people treat presses like they do cars. It's like, you just need a Corolla to get to work, but here you are living with your parents driving a Cadillac. And it's like, what's going on there? Like, move out of your parents' house.
Yeah. No, you're right. You gotta just focus on sales first. But as far as like press, I mean, obviously you got to rock. You know,
3 rocks.
yeah. So I like the rock. I
I
like
like the rocks, but I don't understand the massive prices on some of the rocks.
got
Because
it.
I have an 810, a 6.4, or I think it's an 8.4 actually, and then the little nano, which is like the kid board sleeve boards one. And all of my presses combined, maybe 110,000
Got it.
like total that I've spent on all presses combined. But other people will have one single press, 135,000, and it's like, okay, but I can output more than you. Like the way you allocated your money and the return you'll get out of it
Got it.
is worse, you know? Like, sure, you might have a 16 color, but how many 16 color jobs are you going to be running exactly? You know, like people, they overdope their equipment. Like those Lotus Holland screen washing machines, they are cool, but if I'm gonna pay someone an hourly rate anyway to clean screens, even if they're just loading it on that machine, what is my ROI on them cleaning the screens on a dope machine versus putting it in a dip tank and then just rinsing it with a power hose? It's like there's almost zero ROI to that machine. So then you have these really cool print shops that are pricked out, but also like how much of that money could have just gone to employees and profitability, you know? And instead you're like just giving the money to Ryan it or whatever. So it's like there's a balance there that a lot of people, I feel like they're overspending and they're forgetting that, you know, especially in a downturn, you don't want this amazing amount of equipment and overhead, because if you do have a downturn in your business, having the dopest equipment won't generate any cash flow.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity or haven't to, upgrade like that, like upgrade to complete automation. I mean,
Right.
it feels like it would be the right thing to do, but you'd have to look at the numbers. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think that if you're doing it, if you're blatantly doing it to fire people, then I can see the argument. So hey, I've got a team of 10 with these 3 pieces of equipment. You can drop your team down to 6. And it's like, okay, I'm going to fire 4 people. That'll save me on their salary. Therefore, the equipment was worth it. But if I'm not going to fire people and I'm going to have a team of 10 after, and my team of 10 outputs the same number of shirts at the end of the month, and the equipment did nothing but make us look cooler, I made no money. I just lost, 60 grand on one machine, and I lost 40 grand on my CTS because me printing a film out and walking over and burning it is not like that hard. Like I don't need a CTS because we're going to output the identical amount of shirts. It's not like we're spending hours putting the like film on the exposure unit and then pressing a button. Like that's not killing us on productivity. So I don't understand the commitment to like wildly expensive machinery that I don't see any provable ROI on.
So I would love to see the comments from Rock, from Ryonet,
Yeah, come at me, Rock.
from all the CTS folks. Oh God, please leave a comment and prove Cole wrong.
I mean, I've talked to Brett and stuff about it. I absolutely do believe it's dope, and it is a better way to do it. I'm not going to put my money in it. I could put my money in I don't know, like stock or something. Like why am I going to put my money there? I could put I would buy like a new company van or something before I would buy one of those machines. Like I could get a dope Sprinter that's all vinyl wrapped with the ability to deliver all over town and do live printing events for the cost of a machine washer, like a screen washer. It's like I'd rather have like a Sprinter with all the branding and all the abilities it would open up to me. I
Dude,
just don't want to put my money there.
Here's what you should do right now. Print a shirt that has a target in the back and wear it to the next trade show. Because you know what's going to happen at the next trade show.
They've heard all this crap from me. They're not surprised by this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is well made, and I understand the cost. My shop's not big enough. I mean, I don't know. People like Justin at Barrel Maker, he like swears by it, and it probably does make your life better, I guess. But I just don't see it changing your output. It doesn't change your gross volume.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with those things, so my opinion on those are just that opinion. So, yeah. So, how can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you or do business with you? I guess
It's shirt agency.
is it only business people that listens to this mainly, or industry people,
What, to mine?
or to podcast?
I mean, I feel like the vast majority of people listening to mine are like probably print shop owners, I think. And nobody ever tells me they listen. I don't know who listens. I just see downloads. But yeah, I think it's mostly print shop owners.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want those print shop owners to reach out to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just shirt agency. So shirtagency.com, @shirt agency, or just Google shirt agency.
Yeah.
And then I have my own Instagram, which is Cole L. So that's just, a whole bunch of t-shirt stuff too. I don't really post like my actual life.
But I do. So you could actually this project I'm working on, I'm actually going to be documenting a little bit of it, like give people a little bit of the back end. If it works out, great. I'll be building it and you guys can see it live. So go and follow me and just see at Gavin St. George on Instagram or at Proud T-shirts. I'll still put some stuff in Proud T-shirts. So yeah, go check that out.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Cole, and thanks for being on Talking Business.
And thanks for being on Building Your T-Shirt Inbox. All right, bye.